So we've got string types that we can now store inside of a variable. Well, what are some things that you can do with a string type? We're going to talk about some methods, some built-in methods that relate to the string type of data. Essentially, methods, and we'll get into this much more as we continue progressing through this course, methods are things that type of data can do, or what you can do with a string data type. Take a look. So I've got my command window. I'm back inside Python mode. I'm going to bring in a variable. I'll just call it A, and I'm going to put a value in there. I'm going to put in my name. I'm going to say Pew, comma, Kyle. Close that quote. And now A, the A variable, now holds that string. And we know that we could say print type A, and it's of class type string. It's a string data type. Now, what are some things that we can do with that string? Well, when I originally typed that data in, let's go back to my first variable here, A equals PewK. Well, I've got my name in there, but it's all lowercase. Well, imagine you get in a data dump down from some database or some website or wherever. Maybe you're scraping data down, and people have put data in all sorts of different ways within this data set. Well, I want to clean that data up. Well, there's a couple of methods that are going to help us out with this. Take a look. So I'll hop in here and I'm going to say A dot, let's do upper. A dot upper. So I've got the A variable, which is of type string, and it's got a method called upper, uppercase. I'm going to hit my enter key, and now I converted A, or the value that's found within the A variable, to uppercase Pew Kyle. Now, if I just print out A again, right? The original A variable, I print that out, it's still what it was normally. But by using the method of upper, I can at least present that data, present that value of that variable. We're not actually changing it. We're not changing it at this point. It's just changing what it looks like, what we're outputting it as. That's it. Let's try another one here. Let's see. We've got upper. You've also got lower. I'm already in lowercase mode, so that's not really going to do a whole lot for me. Let's see. What if I want to get proper case? I want a capital P and a capital K for those names. Well, if I say A dot capitalize, see if I spelled that right. I'm going to hit my enter key, and there's a capital P within my Pew. Now that K didn't get capitalized. How could we do that? Only capitalize that first letter. I want you to think about that for a little bit. Maybe we'll come back to it. But think about that. Capitalize got part of the way there, but not entirely. All right, keep thinking about that. Lots of methods that we can use here, and perhaps a combination of methods as well to help us accomplish specific tasks with these string types. Now, I've got so many others that I want to show off here. I'm going to give you a resource. The next lecture, I'm going to list out all the various methods that you have for the string type. But you know what? Let's try at least one more here. So a string value, okay, something else that we're going to talk about later on more in depth is a concept called arrays, or a collection of multiple values, all combined into one. Right now, I have a collection of values. Inside of this string, this original value here, I've actually got two values in there. I've got Pew and I've got Kyle. Okay? Those are two separate values. Together they make my full name, but they are first name and last name, two separate values. So really it's a collection of values, or an array. And we'll discuss arrays much more in depth later on. But a string type is really, it's an array. Okay? Let's see. If I hop into here and I say A dot split. Split. Okay, you probably guess what this is going to do. I want to be able to take those two separate values and split them up. Break them apart. Okay? Well, in order for me to utilize this split method that's a part of the string class or the string type, I need to tell it how you're going to split the values. Well, once again, if we go back to the original assignment value, they're separated by a comma. So the split method, it takes an argument. It wants to know how the data is split. So here I'm taking the A variable that contains Pew Kyle with the comma separating, and I want to split those values based on where the comma is at. I'll hit my enter key, and there's the two values. So now I've got Pew and I've got Kyle separated by that comma because there's the first value that got split and there's the second value that got split in there, broken up into two separate values. Now we could even take this a step further, and I could say something like, let's see, let's do this. Let's do a print. We'll say print A dot split. We're going to split that by the comma inside of there. But now I want to get back one of the specific values from that. Now, once again, we'll go more in depth into this as we continue going into lectures, but this is kind of jumping into what an array is all about. Remember, an array is a collection of values, which is really what a string is. It's a collection of text values. So here I can use the square brackets, and I want to get the first value from that split. And I'll close that paren, and there's Pew. There it is. So I got the print, I'm splitting it out, splitting it by the comma, and arrays within Python, they're what are called zero-based arrays. So the first entry within the array or the collection is actually in spot 0. If I wanted to return Kyle, then I would use the number 1 because it's in the second position. Sounds kind of odd. If you're working in other programming languages, that's old news. You've probably run into that many, many times. Okay? But Python, they are zero-based. First entry in there is in the 0 position, 1, 2, 3, and so on. So try these out. Various methods that we can use with string types. And that was just a couple of them. Remember, the next lecture, I'm going to give you a resource of all the various different methods that you can utilize with a string type. Now, I'm going to give you a little assignment here. There's going to be another lecture where, you know what, we've got a name like Pew Kyle there. And when I split it originally, remember this line right here? I split it by the comma. Well, you know what? It's broken it up into the two separate values. But look at Kyle. There's a space right there. See that space right there? I don't want that. If I were to change this from a 0 to a 1, it would get Kyle. Let's just do it, right? Let's say I want to print. I'm going to do a dot split. We are going to put the comma in there. And then this time I'm going to get the one in the first position or the number 1 position. And if I output that, there's Kyle. But you can see that there's that empty space right there. Right? I don't want that space. How would you clean that up? Okay, so remember, the next lecture, look at all the various methods that are in there that you can utilize with the string. And then I'm going to give you an assignment to go through and practice and clean that up right there. Okay, but first, get a feel for this, working with just the methods, and then we'll try out the other ones as well. Also, just to remind you, take advantage of the Q&A section of the course. Ask your questions in there. Even take screenshots and show us what you've done. Okay, that's great. I want to see what you're learning. I want to see what you're mastering as you continue through this course. So this is exciting. You've got variables, you got different types, whether they're integers or floats or strings, and there's various methods that you can utilize to help you manipulate those different types of data. So try this out.